Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. A former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, joins the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, calls for the release of the abducted Chibok schoolgirls. The Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, offers his support to the federal government as the search for the missing girls continues. Another Bring Back Our Girls group of protesters emerges in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And South Africa's President Jacob Zuma is sworn in for a second term in office. I'd like to remind you that all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, please visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. Please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to show the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Students of the Redeemers University have joined the campaign for the return of the students kidnapped by the Boko Haram sect from the government secondary school, Chibok. Dressed mostly in black and holding a banner between them, the students came out in their hundreds to show their support for the Chibok students, parents, and the efforts of security agents. Chanting solidarity songs, the students say they are not concerned about the strategies of the military, they just want to see that it works. This is one of the latest in the campaigns for the rescue of the Chibok girls, which have spread across the world, cutting across all walks of life. The Chinese and Nigerian Navy have signed a memorandum of understanding to engage in a 4-day joint military training exercise. Top naval officers of both countries and members of the Chinese Diplomatic Corps were on hand to welcome the Chinese naval ships to Nigeria. The training is scheduled to begin on Tuesday, May the 27th. Our correspondent, Oreoluwa Shonibare, reports.
The gathering of these Chinese nationals is for a special purpose. They are here to welcome 3 of their naval warships berthing in Nigeria on a 4-day joint military exercise. With 1 ship patrolling the seas, only 2 make their way to the port. The ship's crew wave to the crowd and are treated to a rousing welcome. Also on hand to receive the crew are top naval officers and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria. Both countries share a moment to understanding one another. That done, the crowd is allowed on board, and for most, it's like being back home in China. The Chinese forces also paid a visit to the naval base where an MOU on the proposed exercise was signed. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command explained further on the benefits of the joint effort.
We've been sending a lot of our officers and men to China on training. And like I said in the hall, even as we speak, we have some of our officers and men in China. As I told you, we have 2 ships being built for us there. Right from the scratch, the beginning of the building of the ship, we'll be having our officers and men, to study, the technology of the ship. So that is a very good step, in the right direction.
The fight against terror, be it in the air, on land, or sea, is never one tackled alone. And it takes partnerships like this to contain insurgency wherever they lurk. Orolu Ashonibare, Channels Television News.
Highly climate-sensitive diseases and conditions such as malaria, diarrhea, malnutrition, and dengue fever are expected to worsen as the climate changes. As a result, delegates meeting at the World Health Assembly in Geneva are also pushing for greener practices, which include clean air and safe drinking water. Our health correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, reports.
Signals from the effect of human activities on the environment is becoming increasingly evident. The Earth seems to be losing its capacity to sustain human life in good health with increased vector-borne diseases and washed-away farmlands, which depletes agricultural products and in turn increase hunger and malnutrition. It's been a global debate, and its importance is not lost on delegates at the World Health Assembly meeting. They expressed their worries and country efforts at addressing these climate change health-related challenges.
Harmful cook stove smoke is a major contributor to morbidity and mortality, as it leads to non-communicable diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases and cancer. The government of Ghana has taken steps to promote sustainable and efficient energy utilization.
Under these circumstances, we highly commend the WHO for advancing health-based initiatives regarding climate change.
For years now, we've had a unit handling climate change in the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health have participated in many meetings within Nigeria and outside. What we've not done was taking it fully to the stage of the National Council on Health. And the last attempt we made, we suddenly found out that even the states do not even have officers responsible for climate change. So what were you talking to them about? And that's why we decided this time round that let's start from the basics. First, let them have specific offices that cater for climate change and health.
The WHO estimates that in 2012, exposure to air pollution killed around 7 million people worldwide. In the context of poverty and malnutrition, the priority for many African countries will be to increase access to energy services and strengthen health systems in the interest of everyone. From Geneva, Switzerland, Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, emphasis in the past has been mainly on containing infectious and contagious diseases, but in recent times, more attention is being given to non-communicable diseases. This is partly because the World Health Organization has identified them as by far the leading cause of death worldwide, accounting for more than 60% of all deaths. Diabetes, characterized by elevated blood sugar, is one of such conditions. Focus on Health Tonight examines how to prevent, detect, and cope with diabetes.
Chronic and non-communicable, that's what it's been called. Diabetes sometimes creeps up insidiously on a person. Dr. Ukandu Igwe of the Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism Unit at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital tells us, although anyone could suffer from it, some people are more prone than others.
People with diabetes may initially be complaining of excessive passage of urine, and because they are losing a lot of water, they will have to drink water in increased quantity to compensate for that. They may also be losing weight. So that is what we call the classical presentation. However, some other people may not have any complaint. They may not know that they have diabetes. So a lot of people who have diabetes are just found on routine screening. If there's someone in the family who has had diabetes before, either a parent or a sibling, that puts the person at risk for developing diabetes later in life. If a woman has had gestational diabetes mellitus before, that woman will be at risk of getting diabetes later in life. Then the other ones that we can do something about, the modifiable risk factors for diabetes, include commonly obesity. So those who are obese or those who are even overweight have a higher risk of developing diabetes. Then some people who take some medications, like we mentioned, like steroid, if they take it for a long time, they have a higher risk of developing diabetes. Then some other people too, there are some associations between hypertension. Someone who has hypertension has a higher risk of developing diabetes later in life.
According to a WHO fact sheet updated in 2013, approximately 3.4 million people died from consequences of high fasting blood sugar in 2004, and over 80% of diabetes deaths occur in low and middle income countries. There is hope, however, for those who follow through on lifestyle changes.
In order to give yourself a better chance, it would be good to lose some weight. Someone with diabetes should take our regular African diet. Vegetables are very good, fruits, legumes. The diet of someone with diabetes is the normal diet that everybody should take. Watch fried food, food that have had high fat content, high salt content, soft drinks, meat pies. Those are the things to avoid.
Exercise has been known to help to use the glucose as a form of energy, and again to help us to help the body to respond well to insulin.
Now, one would think that this translates to a bleak existence and shortened lifespan at best, but the expert has a surprise for us.
You can live so long that you won't have any limb taken amputated, you won't lose your sight, you won't have a heart attack, you won't have anything if you comply strictly to the rules of the game. Lifestyle modification, dietary modification, take your drugs religiously, then you'll be fine.
Other things that could help cut down the risk of getting the disease are reducing alcohol intake and cessation of smoking. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Bayelsa State hosts the 10th edition of the African Movie Academy Awards. Do join us again.